Today, we're going to talk about something super specific, but also really common. It's that feeling when you're out for a walk, and it's not you that decides when it's over, it's this timer that seems to go off in your legs.
Yeah, if that hits home for you, then you are in exactly the right place. We're talking about that moment when your body just says, nope, we're done here, long before your spirit is ready to stop. It's so frustrating.
And you know the solution, the turning point. It's usually not about just gritting your teeth and pushing through it. For a lot of people, the breakthrough comes from a discovery they make completely by accident, and maybe the last place you'd expect.
Okay, so let's get right into it. It all starts with this thing that doctors and therapists have a cool little nickname for, the shopping cart sign. This right here is the whole key. You've probably noticed this yourself without even having a name for it. You're walking around, standing upright, and everything starts to hurt or feel heavy. But the second you grab a shopping cart and lean on it, relief. That specific pattern is the clue we're going to follow today.
So, what's going on here? Why does leaning forward help so much? It can feel like a magic trick, but I promise you the reason behind it is actually pretty straightforward.
Yep, it's not magic at all. It really just comes down to the basic geometry of your own body, specifically your spine.
See, when you lean forward, you're actually changing the shape of your lower back just a little bit. That simple motion can open up the spaces where your nerves live, which can temporarily take some of the pressure off them. And that's what makes the pain or the heaviness or those weird zings calm down. But, and this is so important, please remember that last point. This is a clue. It's your body giving you information. It is not a diagnosis.
Okay, so if leaning on a shopping cart works in the store, how in the world do we get that same relief when we're walking down the street? Well, that brings us to picking the right tool and, just as critical, setting it up the right way.
This chart lays it out perfectly. Look, if you need major help with balance, a standard walker is fantastic. If you just need a little bit of light support, a cane is your go-to. But for recreating that specific forward lean, that shopping cart feeling, that's where the rollator is the absolute star of the show.
All right, so let's say you've got the rollator. Awesome. But there is a huge mistake that almost everyone makes right at the beginning. So what do you think it is? What's the number one error?
This is it, right here. Setting the handles way too low. People think it'll give them more support, but what it actually does is force you into what the source calls a portable hunch. You're just slumped over, and that can create a whole bunch of new problems for your shoulders, your neck. You get the idea.
Just look at the difference here. On the left, that's the harmful collapse. The chest is folded, the shoulders are all hunched up and tense. But now look at the right. That's what we're aiming for, a helpful hinge that comes from your hips. See how the chest stays open? You're being supported by your core and your legs, not dumping all your weight onto your wrists. It is a game changer.
So here's how you fix it in like 30 seconds. First, stand inside the frame of the rollator, not behind it. Let your shoulders relax, drop them away from your ears. Now put your hands on the grips. You're going to adjust the height up or down until your elbows have a nice, gentle, comfortable bend. The big test? Your shoulders should not be shrugged at all. This is all about getting support, not creating new tension.
Okay, so we've got the right tool and we've got it set up perfectly. Now it's time to build a smarter walking strategy. Because just having the rollator isn't the whole story. How you walk with it makes all the difference.
I love this quote because it completely changes how we think about success. The goal isn't just to walk for a long time today. No, the real win is to walk today and still feel good enough to do what you want to do tomorrow. It's about avoiding that awful payback where you're down for the count the next day.
So how do we do that? You build what the source brilliantly calls a boringly easy plan. It sounds kind of weird, but trust me, it works. So if your symptoms usually kick in after 10 minutes of walking, you start by only walking for 7 minutes. And you plan to take tiny little breaks, like 30 seconds, before you even feel like you need one. The goal is to make progress that you can repeat day after day, not to set a one-time only record.
This right here might be the most valuable skill you can develop, learning to tell the difference between good tired and nerve angry. Good tired is when your muscles just feel like they've done some work. Nerve angry is different. It's sharp, it's burning, maybe it's numbness, and it gets worse fast and takes forever to calm down. Learning to spot that nerve angry feeling early is your superpower for making real, lasting progress.
All right, let's wrap up with what is, without a doubt, the most important part of this whole conversation: safety. This is about using your rollator correctly and, even more critically, knowing the signs that mean you need to stop and call a doctor right away.
These are the little things that can easily trip you up, literally. Not really knowing your brakes inside and out, getting surprised by how fast the rollator can get going on a little slope, or hanging a heavy purse on the handle and throwing the whole thing off balance. These are simple habits to build that make a massive difference in keeping you safe.
And now, let's be very, very clear about this part. This is non-negotiable. A rollator is a fantastic tool, but it is not a replacement for medical care. So please listen. If you experience any of these symptoms, any new changes with your bowel or bladder, any numbness in your groin or what's called the saddle area, or your legs suddenly get much weaker very quickly, that is an urgent medical situation. Do not wait. You need to seek medical care immediately.
So let's just put this all together into a simple roadmap. Step 1. Notice the pattern. 2. Test it out. 3. Get the fit of your tool just right. 4. Plan your walks to be smarter, not harder. 5. Change how you measure success. It's all about your recovery time. And 6. Always, always keep an eye out for those urgent red flags. And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. What if we just totally changed our definition of a good walk? What if success isn't about how far you went today, but about how well you set yourself up to be able to get out there and live your life again tomorrow?